Hi guys, good morning. You're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch. It is so lovely to see you guys. We are here for 2 letters in Herbal Alchemy that are both very short. I think we have 4 for each of them. So I combined them together, and then I thought this episode I would also show you some other things of what are going on in the studio after the 8 short 8 short flashcards we have for both letters, I and J. J, one of the best letters in my opinion. Jen, Jennifer, Juniper. Hey, Kale, so nice to see you, B. Welcome, good morning. I hope your morning is as lovely as the colors on this cup. The colors on this cup actually remind me of you, B, because you have that lovely tablecloth that's so colorful that you did that reading for me on. And this reminds me of that. I got it from Weed, California. There's actually a little town called Weed in California. Yep, there is. And weed is illegal there. Wait, did they legalize in California? I don't think it went through yet. But when we were there, 4 years ago, last time we were there, it was illegal. And that town's been there for forever. This is an educational channel. I'm not a doctor, nor do I take money for these services. However, if you want to order any witchcraft workings from my Etsy shop, it's in the description below. Hello, Showstopper. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome to the chat. And hello to Moon Moth Goddess and Heather Foley. I was just thinking about you, Heather, right before we started the camera. Funny. And then who else shall I say hi to? I said hi to everybody. So does the town sell weed? Well, I think every town sells weed on one level or another, but I think it's still illegal there in California, so no. I think it was probably established in the 60s or 70s around the town, like time of big hippie type stuff, you know. The history of the symbol of the peace sign is really interesting, you guys. You should look into it sometime. What the symbol, like where it came from and stuff. Saffron, good morning, hello. We only have 8 cards total between I and J, so I'm having a chit chat before and after. But we're going to get into the cards here in just a second. I'm getting some coffee in me. Been sleeping not a ton, just kind of like twice a day for 5 hours. So I just had about 3 hours. Oh no, my schedule's been off. I work a lot during the full moon and I try and get all my herbs out into the moonlight, and I did that, and it's been a while since I got all that done. So I realized that the trampoline, great place to set up your herbs so that the moonlight can just beam down. Okay. So we'll start with I, because I comes before J. Oh boy, I'm funny in the morning. Hello and good morning to Black Enchanted. Did I say that right? Black. I like the spelling of that. Greetings. So we start with I. And we have Indian Paintbrush, which is one... Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh boy. I didn't actually write them down. I wrote down the front, but not the back. I'll just read from the book and write them later. Obviously, I've been a bit tired. Okay, so we go to I, and what we're doing is we're making flashcards from Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. And this is good for both energetic workings or witchcraft workings, hoodoo workings, folk magic, what's the other word we use? Conjure, hoodoo. Said that, I think. Okay, so Indian Paintbrush. The folk name for this is Snake's Friend, which I thought was really cool. The gender is feminine. The planet is Venus. The element is water, and the magical power is just one, and it's love. But the snake's friend and snake matches being the folk names is something that I'm going to note because I work with snake repelling, snake raising, snake, all kinds of herbs that are related to snakes. And Scotty brings up all different kinds of snake types of charming and etc. herbs. Okay, so Indian paintbrush, feminine, Venus, water, and love. Next we have ivy. And ivy, nope, ivy's not next in the rainbow. Iris is next in the rainbow. And iris, is, the planet is Venus, the element is water, the gender is feminine. The powers are purification and wisdom. Purification and wisdom for the iris. Irises have always looked like wise old ladies, and remember in Alice in Wonderland, I do believe there are some irises that appear as like these done up wise old ladies, if I'm not mistaken. Alice in Wonderland. The original Disney version is what I'm speaking of, not the Lewis Carroll animated, the Disney original version from the, what, 60s? Okay, so there's ivy for you. Excuse me, not ivy, iris. Feminine, Venus, water, purification, and wisdom. Okay, next, we're on to Irish moss. This is something that I have and that I used. Hello to Mage Prometheus. Beautiful name. Black, thank you for saying that. I love your lives. Finally, you made it to one where I haven't had loads of sleep lately, but I hope that you're still enjoying it. All right, so Irish moss. Do you guys use this? I like using it. It's inexpensive and it's really light. You know, a little bit goes a long way as well. So the gender is feminine. The planet is the moon, and the element is water. Again, the planet is the moon, so the gender is feminine. Planet is the sun. Gender is masculine. And then lastly of the letter I is ivy, and this grows pretty much anywhere in the Pacific Northwest. And really amazing witchcraft herb for obvious reasons. And if it's not in this book, well, obviously I'll be adding that right now. Binding. You want to bind something, and this is probably more toward like, you know, folk magic, hoodoo, etc. But binding something, the first thing I always think of is ivy. And have you ever seen like magical cartoons where the ivy grows around something and holds it there, and like, yeah. So ivy's good for binding, which is what I'm adding to you. It's not here in this book, but binding. And then Scotty also lists that it's good for protection and healing. Protection, of course, because it kind of covers the outside of things. Like, have you seen ivy grow up on a house? And it just covers the front of it. I love the look of that, but it's very protective. So, and then what was the other one? Healing. Protective and healing. So those are all the I letters. There was, you know, as many as 4. Wow. Whereas yesterday we had H, and we had like 40 or 30. And in the letter C we had almost 50. There's a lot of magical herbs. Now I have had a few inquiries on me making flashcards of these. Remember, you guys, there's over 600 flashcards. So if you want a quote on how much that would be, I can either make a small set of them with about 200 common ones I use, or I could do the full 600 for the book. And just in my Etsy, message me and ask me for a quote, because it depends on which one you want. And I still have to figure out how much it would cost to make. Alright, and it's not about supplies. This doesn't cost much, but it's the time it takes to write them all, yeah? Alright, so Jasmine is where we start with J, and I did write and fill these out. I did that already, thank goodness. Who we're saying hello to? Oh, Glamorous Mystic, hey, are you here? So right after this, we should open your package. This package is from you, right? I checked your message this morning. Let me get it. Dawn. Hello, Claire. Oh no, Otis, what did you do? Oh, never mind. Oh. sent this package, right? You did? Okay, fantastic. So we only have 4 cards to get through. Super quick, 5 minutes. Can you wait? Living Out Loud's here. Oh, woohoo! So, Glamorous Mystic is a friend on Patreon, and she sent me something, and that's amazing. Any ways of support, even you guys just being here supporting me, is so much appreciated. I didn't attach my Patreon, but if you look back 3 videos ago, it's in the description. And most of my videos, it's in the description. But my Etsy shop's in the description of this one. Moving along, Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine's one I love. Alex grew it. Alex's last day is in Washington is today. That's why I haven't been on much, you guys. He's been over a lot and, you know, stuff. Anyway, not gonna cry. But, you know, and then so he starts his journey tomorrow morning at like 6 in the morning. Alright, moving on. Jasmine. So, Alex grew this for me for 3 or 4 years, like pretty much right in front of the front door. And in the summertime and springtime, it smells so, so good. And usually you get it and it'll kind of climb up a lattice. I got some dried from the shop, and it's just really good in big clumps, and they're just, oh, I'm so excited to use them in teas. Jasmine tastes so good in teas. And if you have a fresh flower, it's so yummy to float a fresh, non-dried jasmine flower that you just plucked right on top of your magical tea, because they have 5 petal points. So it's just like a star anise or a star of protection or creation, if you want to really have that vibe to create, or that vibe to... So this also is for jasmine. Just like you could use that star of anise for protection with 5 points, you can use the jasmine just like that too. Even though it's curled up into a ball when it's dried, it doesn't matter. You know what is under there. It's just like painting a symbol on a wall and then painting over it. You know all your symbols are under the wall for protection there, even though no muggles can see them or nobody else will know they're there. But they are still marked in this universe, if that makes sense. And same thing, like inside the apple, there's a 5-pointed star, right? And so a star fruit or a carambola fruit, again, these things just resonate that vibration. Okay, so make sure you add that to your intentions as just the protection and creation because of that star. So those are Jen's notes. Creation. And then Scotty lists for Jasmine, love, money, and prophetic dreams. And the smell really makes sense for prophetic dreams to me. And then we have, for the planet, element, and gender, we have moon, water, feminine. All that makes loads of sense. The moon, because it's really white, even when you dry it, it stays bright white. And then feminine is always with the moon. And I was just talking about floating it on tea, so water, just remember that, liquid. Okay, Jasmine, we have 3 more left, then we're going to open a package, and then I'm going to show you the loft and what's been going on. We're going to have a really cool live stream this morning, you guys. Okay. Next, we have Job's Tears. Job's Tears. Jasmine's one of your favorites too, Christina. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Job's Tears. Good for 3 things. There's no planet, element, or gender. Glad to catch you too, Christina. Healing, wishes, and luck. No planet, element, or gender. Job's Tears. Healing, wishes, luck. Joe Pie Weed. Joe Pie Weed. Heather, do you know? Am I saying that right? I know I wrote it correctly. I know it's correctly written. 2 magical intentions, no planet, element, or gender. Love and respect, Joe Pieweed. Jennifer, Juniper. Do you guys know this song? I said it right, Joe Pieweed. And Heather, have you ever worked with Joe Pieweed? Have any of you guys heard the song Jennifer, Juniper? My name is Jennifer. You're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch. Where's that coffee? It's a good song. I think it's from like the 70s or something. And my first husband, his dad's best friend, used to have too much to drink over in Minnesota. He's from a small town and everyone called him the mayor. He's apparently a big deal. He used to call me after he had too much to drink and sing me that song, Jennifer, Juniper. Now I would think, Juniper, yeah, I like that in herbalism. So Juniper, one of my favorite things to work with. My Etsy shop's in the description below, where you can purchase Juniper bowls like Whitney just did. By the way, everybody, let's say congratulations to Whitney. She's not here right now, but she's pregnant. And so she got her Juniper bowl from my uncle. And she needs to be in all of our prayers because she's in the beginning in her first trimester. So we all need to vibrate that protection ring for our sister Whitney, who said that I could announce that on the channel. And you know what? In the big box that her Juniper bowl fit into, I put the 6 Ina May Garten pregnancy books that I've been hanging on to, and the vaccine guide and all of the things I thought were so important, and I sent those to her, and it was a flat rate shipping box. I've been stuffing the Etsy order boxes with like crazy amounts of stuff. I think, was it Spirit Moon? Was it your package that you got and you were like, I can't believe it, because I've been sending you guys more than you've been ordering. I've been sending you in freebies just because I have so many herbs, I have no place to put them. I literally either send them to you guys as filler in your orders, or I have to put them back in the woods. Like, there's no place. So, any Etsy orders you may need, message me down below. Magical properties of Juniper, though, I use the wood, I use the berries, I use the twigs. Anything I can get my hands on from Juniper, I love. I have it in powder form and chip form. I sell that on my Etsy shop. There's a listing. A pound of it is a giant box stuffed full of chips and powder to burn for incense. Smells amazing. Stuff into magical pillows, etc. I sell a pound for $22, and I end up giving you an extra quarter pound for free because that's what fits in the box. You know what I mean? Juniper, good for 5 magical intentions, and then there's a planet, element, and gender. Juniper is good for protection, anti-theft, love, exorcism, and health. That's a lot to be thankful for, Juniper. Protection, anti-theft, love, exorcism, and health. And the planet is the sun. So what's the gender, you guys? If the planet is the sun, what's the gender? The element is fire. Landline. Sending positive vibes. Yes, thank you, Showstopper, because it's important that we do try and support each other, especially when pregnancy, I mean, it's not the Handmaid's Tale yet, but like pregnancy is not as easy as it once was to, it feels like there's more trouble carrying these days than there was 40 years ago. Yes, you guys, mail. So we've realized with nothing slipping us up yet that if the planet is the sun, the gender will always be male from what we've seen. And if the planet is the moon, the gender is going to be feminine. Okay? Now we're done with these. We're done with our cards for today. Between the letter J and I, we only had a total of 8 cards. So again, we had Jasmine, Job's Tears, Joe Pieweed, and Jennifer Juniper. And then for I, we had Indian Paintbrush, Iris, Irish Moss, and Ivy. Okay, so now I'm going to move along and open this package, which I'm really excited to open. H-I-J. And then we'll show you some stuff that I've been doing lately. Okay. So again, thank you, a friend from Patreon. Hey, Madam Butterfly, welcome. A friend from Patreon who's here in the chat now. Hi, Freshwater Fairies. I didn't say hello yet. I want to make sure I said it. Glamorous Mystic sent me this, and I do believe it says fragile. Fragile. Looks to be a doll. Yay. Which is appropriate because we're here with the dolls. Better without. Wish I would have figured that out before. Hi, Thomas. How are you? So good to see you. I'm going to pound this coffee and get more. Okay. Oh my God is gracious. I cannot believe this. This is so amazingly kind. This is so amazingly kind. I don't want to cry on camera, but I'm going to cry about it later. So let me hold it up. So amazingly excited. I've wanted this for a really long time. I've talked about this for a really long time. This is super generous. Thank you. I'm going to get all the styrofoam off of it. It's not a doll. No wonder when Peggy saw it, because she opened it and I didn't know. She's like, I don't know what it is. On my Patreon, I do lots of workings with Santa Muerte. I'm so grateful for this. Can't even explain it. It is a nice big statue, if you can see the size. It's got a lot of like what we would probably tie to like Egyptian type symbolism here, which I've always thought's really cool. Great for like abundance and money type. Great, you know, all my offerings now have something big to go around. Right now, my Santa Muerte statue is this big. Which is great. Like, any way that you can honor Santa Muerte is amazing, and she appreciates it. But I've been telling her for a while, I'm going to save up for a statue for you, girl. And so I cannot thank you enough, because I've always really loved this one. Let me show you the statue I do have of hers. It's a different style than this one altogether. Because in this one you can see that she's particularly holding money. And also she's got all these different colors, which are really, really amazing for that balance of that like chakra and kundalini. The colors aren't right where the chakra point, you know, the correct chakra colors are. It's different symbolism here. But really, really, really glad to have this. And she's gorgeous. She's got some red stone eyes. And I'm going to get that little tiny statue and tell you the difference between kind of the two. Also, you can see the bull's horns down here as well behind the roses. This is fantastic. So beautiful. Let me get you her other statue really quick. Wow! Santa Muerte, did you see that? Oh, goodness gracious. Wow. You guys are are way too kind. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So I brought over some Florida water so I could cleanse it with you guys. Here's the statue that I have, which is a cool one. She's got her sickle, and then she's also in this hand got a globe of the world. And then the scales over here in this hand. And then there's not too much detail at the bottom, but I got this in Houston, Texas at this like Hispanic flea market. I only say that because it was listed under like flea markets and swap meets, and it was everyone there, all the vendors were Hispanic, which was awesome because I got to go to this stand and buy all these coyote parts. And this statue, among with like holy waters from Peruvia and then from this Catholic church, and I met a Peruvian witch, and that was really cool. So, and then there's also a stand where I got a Mexican tarot card dress. That's the next thing that I really want, you guys, is Mexican tarot cards. I don't know what the deck's called, and I think that there's very few cards, like perhaps maybe 40 cards. But let me show you what I'm talking about. This is amazing. I usually take off any stickers that might be there, but I always take note of numbers that are on them. Number 13's on there, that's cool. And then it said 6652. Almost a number sequence at the start. And then I spray down with Florida water. Is just kind of my routine. And if you spray the Florida water onto the sticker, it'll really help you get it off quicker. And you can rub that Florida water all over. I cleanse this from all energies that may have touched it before me. She is clean and ready to honor Santa Muerte. Wow. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so great. I'm so surprised. And what a beautiful donation to the channel. And to Santa Muerte. I mean, obviously you're a fan of Santa Muerte, or you wouldn't have sent that. Well, she and I are very grateful. Alright. Oh, which reminds me of a story to tell you guys. I asked for her help last night directly. I was on my knees asking for her help. Last night in the middle of the night, I realized, because I had a bunch of Etsy orders where I have this listing where I sell 200 herbs, and it's like 50 cents of each herb. 200 different herbs. And it's like 150 bucks or something. Anyway, I had to get last night all of my herbs from the trailer up and onto my bed, okay? So that was a big project. I poked my finger with what I thought was something poisonous because my whole hand started to puff up and I was having sharp pains, and I thought, like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have to go to the emergency room. And for me, that's a big deal. Like, A, I avoid the doctors as much as possible till the last minute, and B, I have things up here like datura and some pretty things, like if you get poked with, you could really be in trouble. And I have so many poisonous things up here. It could have been that I got poked with because it was just something random on the floor. It wasn't like that I had touched. I was on the floor. Something really sharp got me, and it was stinging, and it was stinging down in my palm and everything. So I was literally down on my hands and knees last night asking for help from Santa Muerte. And then here she shows up this morning, and she's been in my room this whole time. This statue's been in my room for what, like 3 or 4 days now, right? Waiting to hear back from who it was from to be safe. And so, you know, that's amazing that she was literally here with me last night and in this form, and I had no idea. So it's pretty amazingly great. I'm going to get these back over at the altar now that I've cleansed this, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going on with the loft and some new things that I'm working on, some new ideas that I've got. Let me set these things down. I'll be back. So grateful. Wow. After this message, we'll be back. Okay. So I'm gonna move. We're gonna sit on the floor real quick together. Come on, y'all. Come on. So I want to show you guys some things that I've been working on. Okay. Sorry for all the wiggly. Okay, here we go. What have I been working on? So number one, like just really, really fun stuff. I've been taking apart plastic dolls and making weird things. Like I want to make this into a pen, perhaps, or just leave it as is, and hold it. Or make it into a really cool brooch or necklace. I don't know, but I think it could be something. Just playing with doll parts in general though. And the plastic ones, the Barbies that I generally use like older Barbies. You can find 1965 Mattel Barbies at the thrift shops here. And take those apart and then you use those for your outdoor wind chimes. Because like the porcelain doll ones you want to save for your indoor wind chimes. Because, well, no, if you use them as outdoor, fine. But if there's a big wind, they're going to break. However, if there's no wind where you live, and you have these porcelain doll chimes, they're gonna start to get like weathered, which is what you want if you want them to look real creepy and old naturally. Anyway, indoor wind chimes, this will probably go on one of my really weird wind chimes. Etsy me if you want to see pictures of those. I did do a video on it though. Y'all were there, remember? You do. So good news, I sold my very first, and it's just my first, because remember these are all be one of a kind, but I sold the Winnie the Pooh deck. I had 2 or 3 people interested in it, but, you know, some people were like, I'll be interested in a month, I'll be interested in 2 or 3 months. That's great. There's no lack of Winnie the Pooh supplies out there for me to make decks for people, so if you wanted one and you weren't the one who got to have it, don't worry. You're still going to have your own one-of-a-kind unique deck from me. This one is going to be my first deck that will come with other little curios, because as you can see, there's a place below to put the deck, and then on top there's this little shelf where I'm going to put 2 like crystals for divination, or some kind of like curio and herbs or something, and then a chicken paw over here for divination, because a chicken paw is really cleansing to wipe yourself down with energetically before you do a tarot card read. And if she sees this and she doesn't want a chicken paw, no problem. I can put some different stones in there, some herbs, whatever. I haven't asked that detail yet, but yeah, the Oracle decks take 3 to 4 weeks to create. One of a kind just for you, and this one's going to be Winnie the Pooh. Guess what is the coolest thing? As I was unpacking and going through stuff last night, I found my books from childhood that I was just going to donate, The Tao of Pooh and The Day of Piglet. How perfect. The landline is literally driving me nuts. We're just gonna wait this out for a second. I think it's done. So it's cool because these are like novel books. Hey Juggler, how are you? So nice to see you. Glamorous Mystic says, Jen had my statue in the box and she was praying to Saint Martin. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys didn't see the beginning of this video, make sure to watch it, because it's so interesting that as I was asking for her help, she was here in this room, and I mean, to me those things mean something, and it's after asking her for help last night, being so scared after I hit myself with like some kind of sticker that could have been poisonous, I didn't know. Begging for her help so I didn't have to go to the hospital. So for the Pooh deck, there's great pictures inside of here. There's great pictures. Now, these aren't pictures that are in color, but it's cool because these very books were what started some of my spiritual journey. I don't know if you guys have read these books, but even though it's a novel, throughout the book, there's loads of pictures. So I will be cutting up my old childhood books that I was going to otherwise donate, because they are spiritual books. Okay, I don't know if you guys have read these. They're spiritual books, so I'm going to make a deck out of them. And like I say, if she wants some with color to be in there as well, I'll go to the thrift store, look in the children's book section. Generally at Goodwill, children's books are 79 cents no matter which one they are. And you know, you don't have to feel bad about cutting up a book that was 79 cents. Get in there, get some color pictures. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real big fan of the black and white against the bright color of the Oracle card itself, because I make them out of a bright colored cardstock. Alright, moving along, I want to talk about some other decks that I have kind of sitting up here ready to go for when people order them. And also some other things I've been working on. So here we have what's going to be a sushi deck, or a Japanese food deck, or both. And I have this cool little sushi, little fake piece of sushi thing that I'm going to glue to the top of this, so that it's an actual, like, it will lift up the lid. And then we'll have a circle oracle deck on the inside. And I have a book that's pictures of sushi, and I've already cut it up. So this deck could be made fairly quickly, the sushi deck, or Japanese food deck. And I also have, I think, yeah, right, this book, that if it was more Japanese food than Japanese sushi, I have to cut up. So I want to show that to you. Beautiful pictures once we get to them. Tea set there. Japanese food is so beautiful in general. Just the whole presence of it is dainty and beautiful. And I worked in Japanese food for 13 years off and on. So some really, really pretty pictures. But I've got for that deck in mind sushi, which I've already got cut up from a sushi book. So yeah, if anybody is interested in the Asian food and sushi deck, or just the sushi deck, say the word and it's yours. Next, we've got this deck, which can either be a Big Bang Theory deck, because it looks like it's like in a spaceship, and the cards are a very unique shape. Three different colors. A lot of cards in there. And this is a buttonholer box, but I made it into an Oracle deck box. Or you could have it be old sewing patterns. I just don't have the supplies for that. But I thought it could be like either from this UFO book, which has loads of pictures of UFOs. UFOs in space, because I have so many books on pictures of that. Hey Joyce Jordan, nice to see you. And hello to Sisters Vlogs, nice to see you. So if anybody wants like a handmade Oracle deck space and or UFOs, or whatever your idea is, we'll do it. Next, I've got, oh right, I ran into these books, and I thought, I got them from my daughter, all the Roald Dolls, you know, like the guy who wrote the BFG, he also wrote The Witches. So I was thinking, because there's animated pictures all throughout the books, and I was just going to donate these, why not cut them up and do one of the books? Because Roald Dahl is a very cool little illustrator. No. Queen and Blake is a great illustrator for Roald Dahl's books. So anyway, The Witches, Going Solo, Boy of Tales Childhood, The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, Danny and the Companion of the World, Fantastic Mr. Fox, The Twits, BFG, George's Marvelous Medicine, or also it looks like the one I'm missing is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, also for that Japanese deck, I got this, which I thought would be cool to do some pronunciations on one side of the oracle card. Alright. Okay. So, if any of those Roald Dahl books you want to be made into oracle decks, I've got loads of different kinds of shapes and boxes, etc. Roald Dahl and you and the kids were talking about if that's a mandala effect or not. Oh, what do you mean? Explain that more, because mandala effects are always surprising me, even though I don't know how to feel about them. You know what I mean? So what else do I have? If anybody wants, like if you love the show Friends and you want a deck made, I got a bunch of pictures of the cast of Friends in the, you know, Friends, Friends. Next, moving along. So, I'm really like, whoever is into pirates or sunken treasure or anything having to do with like the sea and marines, here's my idea for this. I have all of these boxes ready to go. This one's like a recipe card shape is what shape the oracle card will be, because this is a recipe box. But I want to paint this to look like a treasure chest. You will be able to see inside, which is cool. And then have like all these like jewels and pearls and stuff coming out of the side after it's all painted to look like a treasure chest. And then the oracle cards will be inside. And I have all these like broken necklaces so that, you know, pearls will be hanging out of the side and stuff. And I thought that that would be a really cool oracle deck, to have it be like a pirate treasure type theme. And then the books I thought to use, I have 3 different shapes for boxes. This one's a little smaller. And this deck would come with little tiny curios if it was made into a pirate deck. That's a great shape for an oracle deck there. So there's that. And then I've got this wooden, I don't know, little pine box perhaps, that can be just left as is or painted to look like a treasure chest and then treasures coming out. Or decoupaged with just stuff in the theme of the deck. Now let me tell you my ideas. I've got a bunch of books here to show you. My number 1 idea for these treasure chest oracle decks, and they could be for self-love, like the Treasure of Life. I've got this book, and it's quite expensive, but I found it thrifting. And it's all these amazing pictures of crowns and jewels and just like life-size shape. Like, see my head and see this crown? So the book's huge. And I thought I could do some cards with different beautiful, like royal jewelry. There's just all kinds of stuff in here. So this is just one thing that could be added to these like treasure cards. Also, this is a book of lost worlds. I'm just catching up on the chat really quick. Yeah, I heard about the Bernstein Bears thing. I remember it being Bernstein Bears when I was a kid. I remember it being Bernstein. That's how I pronounced it when I heard the mandala effect anyway. Do you see fairies, and what are some names? I've never seen fairies. What are some of the deities I work with? Santa Muerte, Bastet, Isis. And then I work with spirits of my herbs and things. And then past loved ones. How is my third eye clairvoyance? My clairaudience is my highest clair. And my third eye is probably not as open as it could be because of like diet and things like that and what I can afford with that. But good questions, Universal. Okay, James and the Giant Peach, right, Heather Foley, that's a really cool story. Alright, let's keep going. So these lost worlds, some things that could be on the cards. Look at these pictures. Really, really cool stuff that can be on these cards. And, I mean, everything from, like, hieroglyphs, and, you know, ancient pictures on stone to, you know, pictures of, like, Crete and monoliths and statues. Stuff like this, you know. Okay, so that's another book that could be part of the treasure deck. This Indian fishing book, you know, you could have it be like a fishing tackle box type theme. I don't know, as creative as your mind can get, we could do it. But this is like Native American knots and fishing and hooks and all that kind of stuff. This is a cool book, Oceanic Mythology. Having all kinds of stuff that you might find if you were out traveling in the seas for the first time, finding new lands. Cool pictures in here, though. Drum. And then I've got, like, you know, a book on the Vikings. And we could make it a Viking theme. There's tons of pictures of Viking type stuff in this book. And I have more Viking themed stuff. This one is The Fighting Sail. And there's just some really cool pictures. Boats and men who sailed, apparently, and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So, lastly, another one I thought that could go inside of one of these types of, like, treasure chest type boxes or on a theme of its own is this book is Wonders of the World. It's really interesting because it's just pictures of some really cool, like, areas from all over the world. Yeah, the Viking deck I thought would be fun. This looks like a Nintendo thing. I don't know. Microchip. Just some really cool pictures in this book. And I found a great book to make an herbal deck. Somebody asked me about an herbal deck. Lastly, I just want to show you some more boxes and then some other ideas. And then I gotta get back to my Etsy orders because I have a lot going on right now. All Etsy orders, Etsy's down in the description if you guys need anything. If you have your own idea for oracle decks, we can create it together. Etsy, down below in the description. What I was going to say was, right. So I have all the stuff right now to make a penis deck. And then it would be in this pork and bean box, which is hilarious, right? Penis oracle deck, one of a kind, right? This is a self-love box, and it can come with, your cards will be down below in here. Cards in here, mirror here, self-love affirmations. Another vintage recipe box. We could do another vintage food deck like we did for Kitty. This one is so cute. Peggy got me this old Campbell's soup one. So I have a book on soups. We could do a soup oracle deck. And it's got beautiful pictures of soup. It's up over there and I was going to donate it. Or we could do, and this will hang right on the wall as well. Or we could do, like, I could get a book on Campbell's stuff and we can do all Campbell's, because I know Campbell's is a really big theme that people collect. So if you want your Campbell's soup or soup oracle deck or just vintage food oracle deck in this Campbell's box, let me know. Heather, thanks for telling people what's going on. I appreciate that. Yeah, so many choices, you just never, it never ends. I have this teeny tiny dinky box. We could put like a small Thoth size deck. This is perfect. Be very kind of small deck to go in there. Oh good. This one, a circle deck. It's got a little girl on a farm. We could do a farm theme in this one. Circle cards are really fun. All your friends will be like, woo! And we have another powder poof. We did a pinup deck in here. This will be another circle deck that goes in here. This is plastic. And you will be one of the only people in the world, probably, that have an oracle deck in one of these. I've created 2 so far. I've got this box for a big deck, like a big pinup deck. Kind of wood carving, and that's probably, I don't know, shell or something. Bye, Drogler, nice to see you. This one could be for like an old, I don't know, Western theme or something, but I love the shape, because remember, the shape's going to be this shape. And it's got a bunch of like old types of pictures on it. And then Thomas, you talked about an oval deck once. We've got 2 different sizes for an oval deck, and we can decoupage these in anything. You know, but we have the boxes here. Smaller one, bigger one. And a dinky square deck. And then lastly, you know how I do oracle decks, tarot decks, and self-love positive affirmation decks? Somebody could get one of each. Put them in this box. Or we could put other stuff in there too. But anyway, I thought this was really cute. Alright, so that's that. Books that I don't necessarily have boxes for. We're going to make a taxidermy art book. Oracle deck as soon as somebody wants it, and it's going to have all these crazy cool pictures of these different kind of multimedia taxidermy art. I've been wanting to cut this book up for a long time. So if you're into taxidermy, we've got a lot of cool pictures that are going to come out of this book. This mixed media stuff is amazing. I wish I could do things like this. It's amazing. So this will be a really great deck. If anybody's interested in the taxidermy deck, just be the first to say. You can put it in whatever box you want. We can customize the color, everything. It'll be great. Next, people have been asking this for a long time, and I just found the book, True Crime Deck. We'll have all the serial killers in here, or at least, how many do we have in the book? 50 or 60. It's not everybody's thing they want to do, but I do a lot of morbid art, and I can't think of a better thing than a serial killer oracle deck. I've sold on my Etsy shop serial killer briefcases, which ask me about those if you're interested. But I'm excited to make this serial killer oracle deck. I've always been a fan of true crime. Next, this one, it's going to be a matter of time before somebody asks about this one. Nuns Having Fun. The pictures in this book are so good. Just loads of pictures of nuns having fun and quotes from nuns having fun. And there's just the best pictures in here. Hilarious. Hilarious pictures. So if you guys want the Nun Deck, you do let me know. And these are perfect size, because look, the book's already small, right? See your hand? So now take the book and then go, what box could we put it in? Well, we could, you can always cut them smaller, but this would be a good box. Or this would be a great box for the Nun Deck. See, because the pages will come in there, which means the pictures, which are on almost every page. See, all pictures. So good. Yeah. Let me know. Oval Nun Deck. Next we have, I got a bunch of books of tattooed women. So I thought I could make a tattooed woman deck, including some vintage pictures of tattooed ladies from freak shows, etc. And also to include if they want, this book would have no nudes, this deck, but this one would have nudes, and these are tattooed girls. And then lastly, but not leastly, I have this big old book of James Bond posters, and I thought that if somebody liked James Bond, since I always do pinup oracle decks, we could do some, like, James Bond movie. So, cool stuff, right? Please let me know if there's anything that I can do for you guys. Currently, my oracle decks take about 3 to 4 weeks to receive. They're one of a kind, handmade just for you, and they're so much fun to create. There's a lot of choosing you get to do. So if you're interested in any of these, or have an idea of your own, message me on Etsy below. Before we go, I want to show you this. Oh wait, one more thing. I unpacked these two dolls. They're plastic. They're pretty old. Old Blanky over here. One of her eyes kind of fell in, which is cool. Anyway, I thought we could make these into wind chimes, because I forgot that I got this a long time ago. It's funny because they have heels. We'll put their hands out and we'll have them be a wind chime, like this kind of thing. I might bind them together to look like with rope, like they've been tied naked together. And then they'll be their own wind chime. And guess what they're going to hold? So these are like rubber dog toys. This is an old chicken leg. I'm going to have them like dangling like a chicken leg. And this rack of ribs. It's a dog toy. And then this big old steak. So they're just going to be dangling these weird things. If you guys want this, let me know. I'll create it for you. As well as, they're also going to be holding on to some, we'll just have some records dangling from that too. I'm excited to make that piece, but I just need someone to say, hey, I want it, and I'll get right on it. Alright, you guys, I think that's it. Have a really good day. Get your biggest artistic sides out, because it's going to make somebody smile, I guarantee it. And thanks for joining me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, where we talked about loads of stuff, but especially the letter I and J in Herbal, Alchemy, and Witchcraft. Have a beautiful day, you guys. Kiss, kiss, ta.